This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
It is Wednesday, October 29th. You know what that means? That means 3 days before the food stamps run out. And who knows what's going to happen. It's going to be wild. There are many, many people who are receiving welfare, who are promising to take to the streets. They're going to riot. They're going to loot. They're going to shoplift. And they're admitting it on TikTok and other places. I would say Saturday is a good day to stay out of Walmart. Just stay clear of Walmart. It's not going to be pleasant. We will get to that. We'll get to the eye-opening revelations about our current state of welfare in this country and what's wrong with it. Another backfire by the Democrats. Their shutdown, when they decided 29 days ago to shut down the government, did a lot to open people's eyes to just how corrupt this whole system is. And maybe it will lead to reforms. I hope it leads to reforms. It'll certainly wake people up. But I want to start with a couple of hoaxes. I think today's kind of an important day. A couple of hoaxes have been exposed, hopefully ended. And I'm kind of glad. I got to admit, one of them is harmless fun. And one of them is the biggest hoax we have ever seen in the history of this country. I'll start with the good, clean, fun hoax. And I got to admit, I'm a little disappointed. I thought Donald Trump was going to keep this up a little longer, another year or two, because it was just so absurd. From the beginning, Trump said, you know what? I'm going to mess with these idiots in the fake news. I'm going to mess with Democrats. And they took it seriously. I've been saying this for months now, that he's not serious about running for a third term. He's just messing with them. And they fell for it. I can't tell you how many times I've watched CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS talk about Trump. He says he's going to run again. Steve Bannon, a Trump guy, has been pushing this. He did it the other day, sat down with, I don't know, PBS or BBC and said, oh yeah, Trump's going to be president again in 2028. Mark it down, I promise. And they fall for it. They sit there and go, but it's not constitutional. And Bannon would say, oh, we got ways around that. And they would go, uh-oh, Trump's going to run again. He's a tyrant. He's a dictator. You know, The View, those morons fell for it. He wasn't serious. He was never serious. He's going to be 82 years old. He's going to complete another wildly successful term. That's the plan. And it's going great so far. I guess he felt like he is doing important work, and he is. This trip to Asia has been wildly successful. If you're not paying attention, they are just fawning over him. This could be the moment, like no other moment in the last 10 months, where we get to see this incredible contrast between the last guy, a vegetable who did nothing, who was controlled by this cabal of far left activists who used the auto pen to sign executive orders and pardons. And those all hopefully will be null and void, because we know Joe Biden was not in control. We know we didn't have a president. And now we have perhaps the most energetic, active president we've ever seen. They're playing the Rocky theme. They're playing YMCA for him in all these Asian countries. He's signing deals. The new prime minister of Japan fawned over him like he was, like he was a Jonas brother, and that she was a teenage girl. They're giving him gifts. They're signing deals. He's getting things done. And he hasn't even met with Xi Jinping yet. That's tomorrow. That's going to be big. The stock market is reacting to Trump signing all these new deals, bringing all this investment to this country. He is on a roll. So maybe he just felt like, you know what? I'm not going to waste time with the stupid troll job that I've been doing. I'm not really running again. What are they going to do now? Does this mean he's not a dictator? Whoopi, Sonny, Joe Scarborough? Does this mean you got to move on? Here he is on Air Force One admitting he was never serious. He's not running for a third term, you idiots. In fact, he essentially said, we got plenty of people who could step in. We got J.D. Vance. We got Marco Rubio. We got some real good candidates, and they don't. They are just the opposite. They have a parade of fools and clowns and phonies, and we got J.D. Vance. Here's Trump giving the whole thing up. Go ahead.
One theory on how you might try to serve a third term is that you could run as the vice president.
Yeah, I'd be allowed to do that.
Is it the White House or the White House counsel to your legal position?
No, you'd be allowed to do that, but I wouldn't want. I wouldn't do it. And I think it's
out.
too cute. Yeah, I would rule that out because it's too cute. I think the people wouldn't like that. It's too cute. It's not. It wouldn't be right.
It's too cute. I wouldn't do that. He's not doing that. And they asked him, would you run for vice president? Yeah, sure. What? They were hoping he would stick to this. He would continue this because it wasn't going to happen. It couldn't happen. It was never going to happen. Barack Obama's not going to run either. I hate to break it to you. Barack Obama versus Donald Trump. It would be great. It'd be wild, but it's not going to happen. He's going to step aside. He's going to be involved with the J.D. Vance administration. Maybe he'll be, an emissary who make these trips abroad, make these deals, make these peace deals because he's really good at it. But he's not running again, you idiots, you fools. You fell for it. That was the harmless hoax, essentially. All it did was it did Trump's favorite thing. It made the media, the fake news, look like fools. That's what he loves to do more than anything. And he did it again with this harmless troll job. I'll tell you what isn't harmless, which is also being exposed. The climate change hoax, the biggest hoax, the worst hoax, the most damaging hoax we've ever seen. We brainwashed a whole generation of kids into believing the world was going to end. They believed their elected leaders. They believed Al Gore and John Kerry and Ed Markey and Greta Thunberg that the weather was going to kill us all, to the point we had elected leaders saying, oh, my children, my daughter doesn't want to have a family because of climate change. And they said it with no shame. We heard Catherine Clark, the minority whip from Massachusetts, say the next generation, her child woke up in the middle of the night having nightmares about climate change. And she said it with no shame, like, you brainwashed your kid into having nightmares and you're proud of that? These fools, I mean, some of them are just really stupid. AOC told us, 5 years ago, the world was going to end in 12 years. Bernie Sanders told us the world was going to end in 8 years. Greta Thunberg told us the world was going to end in 5 years. That was 6 years ago. They were lying to you. They were just pushing this hoax. They knew it wasn't true. Everybody knew it wasn't true, but we had to live with it. We had a federal government, a president who spent billions and billions on climate change initiatives. It was a scam. It wasn't doing anything to affect the weather, but it was making their political allies rich. That was a scandal. That was a hoax. The biggest hoaxer of them all, as we know, was Bill Gates. Bill Gates is a computer guy, a programmer, who somehow became an expert. We were told scientists say the world's going to end. Scientists say we have to act now or we're all going to die. John Kerry made a living flying around in private jets, telling you that you had to stop driving your Honda Pilot and using your gas stove and using plastic straws or the world would end. And somehow he was never laughed off the stage as he should have been. Al Gore made hundreds of millions of dollars pushing this hoax. Well, at least one of the hoaxsters, Bill Gates, is now admitting He wrote an essay, I believe, for The Guardian, and it's the most incredible thing. After listening to this guy for years tell us that cow farts, that was his big thing. Farmers, John Kerry said it too. We have to stop farming or we're all going to die. Somehow we took that seriously, or I didn't, but lots of people took it seriously. Politicians, we made legislation. We spent trillions. The Western Europe has essentially surrendered to the climate cult. They have brought down their emissions, while China and India and Africa have done nothing, like it's a regional problem. Hey, we got our emissions now, we're good. Well, China didn't. What does that mean? It means you wasted your time, you wrecked your economy for no good reason. Here's what Bill Gates now writes. It's amazing. And somehow he'll still be viewed as an expert. This doughy, this slob is coming out and telling you it's not really going to kill us all. Here's what he writes, quote, climate change is not going to wipe out humanity. Yes, that's what Bill Gates wrote. It is not going to wipe what he pushes back on the doomsday climate narrative in an essay, says we still have issues. We still have to be concerned. Climate change, disease, and poverty are major problems. We should deal with them in proportion to the suffering they cause. Although climate change will have serious consequences, it will not lead to humanity's demise. This is a chance to refocus on the metric that should count even more than emissions and temperature, improving lives. Our chief goal should be to prevent suffering, particularly for those in the toughest conditions in the world's poorest countries. Sure, prevent suffering. Can we stop with the let's change the weather, which was never really a thing, which any reasonable, rational human being knew was nonsense. And now they're admitting it. Can't wait to hear from Al Gore, from one of his many mansions. Can't wait till John Kerry, jets to Belgium or wherever you go for these, maybe the Middle East, he'll jet to the Middle East and say, you know what? Bill Gates is right. It's not really going to lead to our demise. Maybe teachers and parents and political leaders and elected officials will now say, the jig is up. We're done here. Let's just stop. Let's just build a strong economy that helps everybody, improves the lives of everybody, and stop squandering our money on these ridiculous sustainable energy initiatives. Could that be possible? That would be that could be the best development yet in the Trump 2.0 term, the second term, that we are done with this nonsense, that we're going to drill, we're going to build nuclear plants. Could any climate change cultist explain to me why we shouldn't build nuclear plants? We need them. We got this AI revolution. We got these data centers. Why wouldn't you build nuclear plants? Why wouldn't you use every possible energy source? Oh, because the climate. We have to push this. We have to emphasize this. We have to stop brainwashing children to grow up in this world where they think it's all going to end soon because, the temperature is going to go up a half a degree and we're all going to die. It was never real. It was always a scam. Oh, I hope we're done with that. Maybe it's just me, but I hope we're done. I'm so sick of this. I'm so tired of these hucksters, these con men, which includes just about every Democrat telling you we have to sustainable energy, windmills and solar, and stop. Okay, just stop. We got more important things to worry about. We got the economy, we got immigration, we got wars around the world. Those are existential. We got this Islamic invasion in our own country we have to worry about. Who's a bigger threat right now to this country? Zoran Mamdani or your plastic straw or your RAV4? Who's a bigger threat to the country, your gas stove, or the millions of Muslims who have come to this country with no intention of assimilating, who want to turn it into London, who want to, as Mamdani said, to change this country into their version of an Islamic state. That's what's happening in New York City in 6 days. 6 days, they're going to elect a radical Muslim communist. And it appears to me he can't be stopped. It sure seems like it's inevitable at this point. There was breaking news yesterday that Mamdani's poll numbers have crashed. Well, I just looked. His poly market odds are now, they were 95% the other day. They're 89.9% chance that Mamdani wins, that we hand the financial capital of the world over to a radical Muslim who's going to fill City Hall with like-minded radical Muslims, who's going to defund the police, open the prisons, make the buses free, make childcare free, freeze the rents, destroying the housing market in New York City. That's going to happen in 6 days. This is a 5-alarm moment in this country. At least one congressman has an idea, and I love it. It's worth trying. Everything is worth trying to stop this from happening. I don't care if it's unprecedented. I don't care if it upsets the media and the Democrats. They have to do something to save New York City. We can't have this. This is terrible for this country, for the city of New York. It really is frightening, but we're going to get to the idea one congressman had to stop Zoran Mamdani, the 34-year-old communist Islamist who hates the police, hates Jews, hates capitalism. That's the guy. Oh, and we have more from his dad, Mahmoud Mamdani, the guy who is a Columbia professor who's teaching young people. You don't get more radical than this. You don't get more dangerous than this. He must be stopped. And we got at least one idea on how to stop them. We'll get to that and more. But first.
Excuse me.
If there's something all of us can believe in, it's hard work, self-reliance, and showing up for the people who count on us. You know, kind of like President Trump, just going hard 24/7. The difference is Donald Trump doesn't need sleep. You do. I do. It's the most important thing to good health. I was in a horrible cycle that had no end in sight. I knew I had to find something to break me free of that cycle. That's when I found Beam's Dream Powder. Beam is proudly founded in America and run by people who share our values: hard work, integrity, and delivering results. It's a healthy nighttime blend packed with science-based ingredients shown to improve sleep so you can wake up refreshed and ready to take on the day. Dream is made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients: reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, and melatonin. Here's the deal. Beam is giving my listeners the ultimate Patriot discount of up to 40% off. Try their best-selling Dream Powder and get up to 40% off for a limited time. So with my discount code Gerry, G-E-R-R-Y, you can get the best-selling Dream Powder for just $39. Go to shopbeam.com/Gerry. Use code word Gerry at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/Gerry. Use code word Gerry for up to 40% off. I wish I could be more optimistic. I wish I could be like some people say, wait, there's going to be a big surprise, a big November surprise on Tuesday when New Yorkers wake up and stop this communist threat, this Islamist threat in New York City. I can't do it. His poll numbers are still great. He's still trouncing Cuomo. Democrats still should be ashamed that they couldn't come up with a better candidate, a better alternative. It doesn't matter at this point. I don't think if Curtis Sliwa bows out or if Cuomo bows out, he's going to win. He's going to win, and he's going to hire 100,000 people. 100,000. You think he's going to hire a lot of white male Christian men to staff City Hall? Or do you think it's going to be the people who are behind him in the background at every one of these press events, these fellow radical Muslims who want to change New York City, want to change America? That's what's going to happen on Tuesday in New York City. And again, we'll sit back and watch the city burn, descend into chaos, and maybe it'll wake people up. Maybe it'll have a positive effect in the midterms, and people will say, we have to stop this threat. But right now, New York, which has changed, right now, New York, 1 in 4 New Yorkers can't speak English. Half of New Yorkers weren't born in this country. 62% of foreigners are voting for Zoran Mamdani. They want to change the city. They want to change the country. And we're sitting back and watching it. It is a scary time in America. The good thing is, Mamdani is not shy. He's gone in front of cameras since he was a kid. You know, he was at Bowdoin College in Maine, started the Students for Justice in Palestine chapter up there, and, you know, talked, made speeches, did interviews. Back then, he's been doing it for years, explaining how he wants to defund the police. He turns around now and says, I don't want to defund the police. He's on record dozens of times saying he wants to defund the police. He wants to open the prisons. Imagine living in New York, I don't care what ethnicity you are, and saying, you know what? We need a mayor who's going to open the prisons, who's not going to enforce the law, who's going to decriminalize drugs, prostitution, misdemeanors, shoplifting. How's that going to go? Who wants to stop ICE from deporting Tren de Aragua and MS-13 gang members, wants to leave them in the city, in the neighborhoods. That's who they're electing. And it's not law-abiding Americans. It's foreigners who came 10 minutes ago. And Democrats brought them here, didn't care, didn't vet them. And now we see the result. Mamdani, the latest clip exposed, revealed from Mamdani, explains how he really feels about the NYPD. Again, every day he goes out there and lies. Says, no, I don't want to defund the police. I've apologized. I've talked to the police. There are 35,000 cops in New York. A lot of them are going to quit. A lot of them are going to retire. And the rest will be demoralized because they know the mayor doesn't have their back. They know the mayor has no interest in locking up criminals, has no interest in enforcing the law. I mean, we saw New York under Joe Biden. It was controlled by gangs. Crime was out of control. That's going to come back and get much, much worse. Somehow, Mamdani found a way to blame Israel for the NYPD enforcing the law. And again, 1/4 of Jewish New Yorkers are going to vote for the guy, not just the trans rabbis we told you about yesterday, but New York City liberal Jewish people are going to vote for a guy who says who won't recognize the Jewish state, who won't call for Hamas to disarm, who won't condemn globalize the Intifada, who says he's going to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, and it says when the NYPD arrests someone, that's really the IDF. Listen to this radical Muslim extremist. Go ahead.
The importance for me of international solidarity is that it takes me out of the American political landscape and reminds me just how tame some of the things are that I'm actually calling for. And it reminds me of the necessity of grounding ourselves in the struggles as opposed to the fights around the struggles. For anyone to care about these issues, we have to make them hyper-local. We have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF. We are in a country where those connections abound, especially in New York City. You have so many opportunities to make clear the ways in which that struggle over there is tied to capital's interest over here.
That struggle over there, that would be, the struggle between Hamas and And the IDF is tied to here. And if the NYPD has their boot on your neck, it's laced by the IDF. What the hell are you talking about? The NYPD is like half minorities. There are more Muslim cops in New York than Jewish. And he wants you to believe the NYPD is controlled by the IDF. No, he's not extreme. That's not that's 2 years ago. That's not 20, 30 years ago. That's what he said 2 years ago, that the IDF is controlling the NYPD. Friggin' insanity. Give me the clip about prisons. Again, if there's an incarceration problem in New York and in any blue city, blue state, it's under incarceration. Most of the crimes are committed by a small number of people. I believe the number they've thrown out there is 600 people in New York commit like 90% of the crimes. I don't have that exact, but the problem is recidivism. It's people who don't get punished, who don't get incarcerated, who are committing the crimes, the muggings and shootings and lootings and carjackings. It's a small group. They need to be locked up. That's the only solution. Just logically, there is no other way to do this. You must arrest and incarcerate if you want your city safe. This guy doesn't believe in incarceration. He doesn't believe in prisons. And he's going to be mayor in 2 months. Listen to this lunatic.
The way that prisons are set up in our society, I would argue that they do not work. They do not make us safer. The instinct is to just take that person, the source of that harm, the source of that issue, and then just throw them away. Put them in a cage and throw away the key. And that doesn't address the reason why that harm was created in the first place. A lot of times, people who create trauma for others are those who themselves went through trauma earlier in their own lives.
Right.
And I bring all of this up to say that, you know, again, like when we talk about policing, I don't think the system actually makes us safer. I think what it does is it just removes problems out of view. It just.
So police and prisons don't make us safer. Honestly, if you were in some small town in Nebraska and you said that, you'd say, okay, whatever, he's nuts. But you're talking about the mayor of New York City saying he doesn't believe in arresting, prosecuting, imprisoning the worst of the worst. How's that going to go? What's going to happen when we open the prisons? We're not even talking about stopping ICE from deporting illegal aliens. We're talking about homegrown criminals. The problem we have is they don't pay a price. They don't go to prison. And he is saying that's the solution. Let them out because of I'm so sick of root cause. Who cares about root causes? Your job is to keep people safe, to protect the citizens of your city. He's going to do just the opposite. He's going to make life so much more dangerous. And I guess we'll just sit back and say, they got what they voted for. They got what they voted for. All right, here's the latest. You wonder where he got these ideas? You wonder where this all came from? Mamdani, we told you about his father, who again was flown into this country from Uganda in a special program in the 60s, who was given everything, was given, home and you name it, given an education. He got a bachelor's degree from Pitt. He got a master's from Tufts. He got a PhD from Harvard, all on you and me. Everything handed to the guy. And now he's a professor. Talk about a cushy gig in New York at Columbia. He hates you. He hates America. He in a book, he's written books, and believe me, you don't want to even try to read him. He is a terrible writer. Doesn't matter. What's he probably making? $200,000. His wife is a movie producer. They're wealthy thanks to this country. This is from Just the News. Mahmoud holds views about 9/11 in America that will raise some eyebrows, including claiming there are similarities between the U.S. and Al-Qaeda, that American foreign policy is ultimately to blame for the 9/11 attacks that killed 3,000 people, and that suicide bombings should not be viewed as barbaric, but as legitimate military operations. This guy is an absolute madman. He wrote in his book that there was, quote, growing common ground between the perpetrators of 9/11 and the official response to it. He said there's a moral equivalence between the U.S. and Al-Qaeda. That's a Columbia. If that was just an average Columbia professor, you'd say that's insane. He's teaching kids that Al-Qaeda and the U.S. are the same. I'm sorry, one of them killed 3,000 Americans. Not that he gives a shit. Not that his son cares, because they don't. I mean, we know he was deeply affected because his made-up aunt couldn't ride the subway with her hijab, and I know lots of the families of those murdered on 9/11 feel real bad about Auntie, but the fact that we let him in the country, shame on all of us. Shame on this country that we looked at this guy, we listened, and we said, yeah, you can be an American. Yeah, we want you here. Why? This, again, is one of those eye-opening moments. What are we doing here? Why are we letting in people who don't just hate us, they want to destroy us? That's where we're at right now. I will give credit. Probably not going to work. Congressman Andy Ogles, a country boy from Tennessee, has an idea how to stop Mamdani. Again, it's a little late in the game, 6 days away from the election. Denaturalize and deport. Now, you hear this initially and you say, that's pretty drastic. Yeah, it is. We need drastic measures. This is a desperate time. We need to do whatever it takes to stop him. And he is asking the Department of Justice to look at this. He says he lied on his application, said he has no affiliation to anti-American or communist organizations, when of course he does. You know, Democrat Socialists of America are a communist organization. He's gotten much of his money from overseas, from radical Muslim countries, have bankrolled his candidacy. He did lie. He said he wasn't affiliated. He wasn't a communist. So why not denaturalize him and deport him? Oh, that sounds icky. That sounds mean. Yeah, we have to do this. We have to do whatever it takes to stop him. The voters in New York City, many of them are foreigners, they don't care about this country. They don't love this country. If you love the country, you'd say, yes, let's do this. Let's stop him. Here's Congressman Andy Ogles with Rob Finnerty last night explaining the plan, how we can stop Mamdani. And I say, go for it. Let's do whatever it takes. Go ahead.
Take us through this case.
Well, I mean, you can look at the forms yourself. When you go to Section 9, Question 5A, it asks, have you had any affiliation with, anti-American communist groups? And when he was naturalized in 2018, he did not put that material information on the form. It would have otherwise disqualified him from becoming a citizen. And quite frankly, the form is clear that if you conceal information, that your naturalization, your citizenship is illegally procured. And so with that, the Department of Justice could open up an investigation. We did much of the heavy lifting, like Comer did in some of his investigations. We've turned that over to the Department of Justice. They could do a review, and quite frankly, they could put his immigration status in question and ultimately deport him. And look, if he hates America that much, he can go back to Uganda. We don't need him here, quite frankly. And look, I'm some white boy that wears cowboy boots from Tennessee, and I'm offended that there's comparisons to Jackie Robinson. Come on, man, that guy was a trailblazer. His life was threatened. He was breaking norms. I mean, this is a historical figure. Mamdani is a terrorist sympathizer.
Yeah,
yeah, he is. He's a terrorist sympathizer. He has ties to the Holy Land Five, Palestinian Americans convicted in 2008 of funneling funds to Hamas through the Holy Land Foundation, a terrorist supporting organization. He supports them. He supports groups that want to kill Americans, that have killed Americans. And he's going to be mayor. He's going to be mayor of New York City. He's going to be mayor of our most important city in 6 days. How did we get here? Why did we allow this? What the hell is going on? We can't turn into London. We can't have no-go zones. We can't have people, proponents of Sharia law. Hell, we can't have people who say, you can't walk your dog in that neighborhood. Why? Oh, Muslims hate dogs. Oh, you can't wear that Star of David. No, you can't have Christmas lights. They don't like that. They're offended. They don't want Christmas lights. You don't think that's coming? It's come to London. It's come to many cities in the UK. This is the big step. This is the big step toward the takeover of New York City. Oh, but he wants free buses. He wants to make life affordable. We'll see how that works out. It's going to be a disaster. But hey, 6 days. Maybe they could do that. Maybe they could denaturalize and deport. And Democrats will scream, even though, they're reluctant to support him. He's a communist. This is what they would do if Democrats were in control and there were a right-wing lunatic who was about to take over New York City. They would do everything. They tried to take Trump off the ballot to stop him. They arrested him. They tried to bankrupt him. They would take drastic measures to stop their opponent. That's what we have to do. We have to fight dirty. Good for you, Andy Ogles. Keep pushing. All right, we have so much to get to. We got to get to this Brandon Johnson lunatic in New York City. And Don Lemon, who is just, he's entertaining. I have to give it to him. All these former hosts who've been fired and doing their podcast, most of them are pretty boring. Not Don Lemon. He now has, I don't know, perhaps his most insane take. He says Megyn Kelly is ugly. We'll analyze and opine on Don Lemon's latest hot take. But first.
Excuse me.
What do you get when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla that is riding on top of a T-Rex? Confidence. That's what you get. Pure confidence. The kind of confidence that you really need in the bedroom for that next level laser wolf riding a raptor in a Lamborghini through outer space type of experience. That's where Ruziet Go Long comes in. This isn't just another ED pill. It's a confidence game changer. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula to help you get hard and go the distance. Plus, effects last up to 36 hours, which means you can feel confident all day and night and then some into the next day, too. Getting started is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online at Ruziet.com. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly to your door. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to Ruziet.com and use promo code Newsmax for 15% off your first order. That's Ruziet.com, code Newsmax. Make sure to use my code so they know we sent you. And if you're paying attention, you get to see crimes committed by illegal aliens like on a daily basis. There's whole websites and Twitter accounts devoted to exposing the illegal alien crime wave. I'm not even talking about welfare fraud. God knows there's a lot of that going on. We're talking about violent crimes in our cities, in New York, in LA, and Chicago. And I have to say, it's refreshing. The mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, who is just insane. He's offended, too, by illegal alien crime. It's good to see. He's the guy who allowed them into his city. He's doing everything to protect them. Wants a no-go zone, a sanctuary for illegal aliens in his city. He's doing everything he can to stop ICE from removing violent gang members from his city. That guy who doesn't give a damn when 8, 10, 12 people are shot dead every weekend in his city. But we know something that will upset Brandon Johnson, that will offend him. The term illegal alien. Man, they're not sending their best. This is a mayor of our third biggest city, of the city of Chicago. He is mayor. He's not a Muslim extremist. I guess that's the good news. He is a moron, and he is, like most Democrats, devoted to protecting illegal alien criminals, to keeping them in the city. Here he is asked about the illegal alien problem. Listen to his answer. This is amazing.
Have illegal aliens. I don't know if that's
well. That's the legal term. I'm not going into political.
The legal term for my people were slaves. You want me to use that term too? So look, let's just get the language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to do is accept the type of racist, nasty language to describe human beings.
He will not use the term illegal aliens, which is a legal term, an official term. They're aliens. There's legal aliens and illegal aliens. There's legal aliens who did it right and illegal aliens who broke the law. Here he is again, asked about a particular illegal alien and what the guy did in his city. And he won't even answer the question. He won't even address it. He won't even acknowledge the problem that the people, illegal aliens committing crimes, is preventable. You just don't let them in the country, or you deport them, and you don't have to worry about them committing murder or carjacking or raping your citizens. But he won't even hear it. Doesn't even want to hear the question. A specific crime committed by a specific illegal alien who should not be in this country. Go ahead.
Well, the real Chicagoans that I talk to, that I communicate with, mostly black and brown, actually, tell me that you don't seem to know the difference between illegal aliens and real Chicago citizens. They feel that you are siding with the illegal aliens over them in their communities. And okay. Sadly,
William, let's get to the question.
Let's get to the question. The real question is simply this. I don't know how to make it any more direct. An illegal alien from Nicaragua grabbed a woman on the north side last week, bashed her head into the sidewalk, knocked her unconscious, and raped her. If that had been your wife, Stacey.
Okay, all right, we're not going to answer it. Thank you. Thanks, William.
All right.
Would you want ICE to deport her?
All right. Let's move on.
Yes or no?
Let's move on.
Answer the question as a man, not as mayor, but as a man. Would you want
thanks. Thank you.
ICE to deport?
Let's move on. That should be the motto of Democrats when asked about illegal alien crime. An illegal alien from Nicaragua bashed her head into the sidewalk and raped her in an alley. Oh, let's move on. No, any more questions? They don't care about victims. If we've learned anything, victims don't matter. Victims of illegal alien crime, of any crime, they don't matter. It interrupts their narrative that, they're human beings with dignity. By the way, my people were called slaves. Well, first of all, everyone's ancestors were slaves. Secondly, who's calling them slaves today? Nobody. That's not a term used about your people today. Illegal aliens are a problem today in your city, and the mayor doesn't care. Doesn't even care that they're bashing women's heads and raping them in alleys. Doesn't affect him at all. He is soulless. He is just so heartless. That is another one of the narratives that has been exposed in recent years under Biden, that Democrats have compassion. Does that guy look like he has compassion? He doesn't care about the woman, doesn't care the victim, he doesn't care about her name. What condition is she in? How's she doing? Means nothing to him. It means nothing. His priority is protecting illegal alien criminals. Here he is lying about ICE, who's doing God's work in his city, trying to remove Nicaraguan illegal aliens who are raping women in alleys. Go ahead.
No one is going to convince me what the Trump administration is doing against black people and brown people can ever be justified. It is racist. When you have black babies being thrown in the back of vans, zip tied in the middle of the night, and masked men sticking guns in the faces of black and brown people, that is nasty, is vicious, is racist. Dr. King described it as an evil. Militarism and that formation is an evil.
Sure. Tell us, when did Dr. King say it was evil to arrest Nicaraguan illegals raping women? When did that happen? I must have missed that in history class. He just lies. Babies being thrown in vans and zip tied. Babies weren't zip tied. Just, I mean, you get what you vote for. They voted for this man. They elected this man, and they're paying the price. All right. We got so much more to get to. We got some truly insane liberals out there. We got to get to this CNN lady, but I want to get to the latest on the shutdown. We are 29 days into the Democrat shutdown. We are 3 days away from mayhem, from chaos at Walmart. As we showed you yesterday, many welfare recipients are promising to loot and shoplift because their EBT cards are running out, because Democrats have decided they have leverage. So the hell with people on food stamps, 42 million, which again, I'm not sure they wanted us to know this. I'm not sure they wanted us to understand just how corrupt this system is. 42 million, 1 in 8 Americans, or I shouldn't say Americans, half of them are illegals, or 59% of illegals are on some form of welfare. Did you know that? Well, you do now. Did you know that meant so many people are on food stamps buying junk food? We need reform. This should be the trigger. This should be the moment we reform the system. No more junk food, no more fraud, abuse of the welfare system. We spend $100 billion on this, and I would say most people are scamming the system. Sure, there are needy people out there, and women with children, disabled, elderly, sure. But when you're watching some of these videos, when you hear some of these stories, there is massive fraud in this system. Now's the time. November 1st, it ends. Let's redo the whole thing. Let's vet everybody all over again. Let's make sure that we eliminate the waste, fraud, and abuse. When this system started, they spent less than $1 billion on this. Now it's $100 billion on welfare, on food stamps. And many able-bodied young adults are just sitting back and laughing and saying, I need my food stamps. I don't think it's working out the way Democrats had hoped. Here's just one of their poster children. This woman who doesn't know how she's going to make ends meet, doesn't know how she's going to feed her family. This woman was put before the cameras as a victim of the shutdown that has led to an end to her food stamps, her SNAP benefits. And she is wondering how she's going to feed her family. First of all, she's employed. Secondly, I'm not sure she was the best candidate for this, the best person. Democrats are posting this, are putting her out there as a victim of this cruel policy. That's what they call it, cruel, to end her food stamps. Check this out.
Employee of the school district, I only get paid once a month. By the time I get my bills paid, I have nothing left to pay for food and other basic needs. If it wasn't for SNAP benefits, I wouldn't be able to feed my children or myself. I work, pay my bills, and like every other mom, I want to be sure that I have enough food to put on the table.
Enough food to put on the table. You think that's a problem for this lady? You think she's struggling? I'd like to see her kids, but if you're just listening, she's $350 if she's an ounce, $350. She's massive. She's morbidly obese. More than half the people on food stamps, on SNAP, are obese. We have a problem, and now's the time to fix it. I'm sure we'll just ignore it. We'll just say, that poor lady, she's starving. No, she's not. She's not. She's gluttonous. And maybe this will wake her up. But, all right, we have time for this Jennifer Welch. I want to show you a woman who regularly appears on CNN. She's a outspoken Democrat activist. Yes. She had a show on Bravo I think it was called like Oklahoma something or other. And she appears on CNN with Scott Jennings and Abby Phillips. She's, an outspoken Democrat. And here she is on her own podcast telling you what Democrats have to do, in what way they should fight back against Republicans. Again, she'll probably be on tonight on CNN. Maybe MSNBC will put her on now. But this is just madness. We're talking about a real large percentage of Democrats who are rooting for more political violence, rooting for more Charlie Kirks, and they're doing it out in the open. Listen to this woman, Jennifer Welch.
If you think the Zoran thing is happening just in New York, and you think people are waking up only in New York City, you're mistaken. Look at this clip of a wine mom at the No Kings March. Play the clip.
Whatever his name was?
Charlie Kirk, ma'am?
Yeah, him is horrible. Horrible.
Charlie Kirk is horrible?
Yes, I'm glad he's not here.
You're glad he's dead?
Yes.
Why would you say something like that, ma'am?
Because he was horrible on the campuses, the college campuses. Horrible person.
You know what? I do the exact same thing.
Well,
would you be glad if I would die?
Maybe. I'd have to think about it.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Your friend just said she'd be happy if I died. I think we need to...
So listen up, Democratic establishment. You can either jump on board with this shit, or we're coming after you in the same way that we come after MAGA. And that woman out in somewhere middle America saying, fuck Charlie Kirk, he was a racist, he was a piece of shit. There are so many more of us than there are of them.
Unbelievable. She'll be on CNN tonight, sitting there arguing about whatever, the shutdown and the Trump's trip to Asia. That's a mainstream Democrat saying she's coming for us, laughing at the murder of Charlie Kirk. And she's not excommunicated from the party, just the opposite. She's a star in the Democrat Party, laughing. You know who else is a star? Don Lemon. Before we go, we got to get to Don Lemon. This is hilarious. And again, they're all these people have been fired, these failures in the mainstream media, the Jim Acostas and Chuck Todds and all the, Terry Moran, all these fools who've been fired. They all have podcasts. Nobody watches, nobody listens. But Don Lemon, he might be making some inroads because he's insane and he's stupid. Here he is asked his opinion about Megyn Kelly. He's been wrong about a lot of things. I'm not sure he's ever been this wrong. Watch this.
Is Megyn Kelly chopped?
I don't know what that means. I don't know what is chopped. I've heard it, but I don't know what that means. What does chopped mean?
She's gonna get mad at me, dude. I don't know if I want this here.
What does chopped mean?
Chopped means like not hot.
She's chopped. I don't know, the whole MAGA look.
It's all the MAGA ladies.
Too much.
Kind of looks like a Barbie doll covered in like WD-40.
I think she looks trans.
Let's end on that note.
She looks clockable.
Clockable. So he thinks she's not hot and she looks trans. I'm not sure you're supposed to
say more than that, I think.
I'm not sure you're supposed to say that, Don. So you're saying trans women aren't hot? Is that what he's saying? I think it is. Let's make our own independent judgment. You think Megyn Kelly's hot, Ironhead?
Especially for her age, yes.
Unbelievable. I mean, you can criticize her for some things, but not hot, and MAGA women aren't hot. It's like that feud. We got a feud going on now. Riley Gaines versus AOC. AOC thought she owned her because she mocked her for only finishing fifth, tied with Leah Thomas. She tied a man, finished fifth in the nation, one of the best swimmers in the nation, in the world. And she said, oh, maybe if you put more energy into swimming, you wouldn't have finished fifth. Riley Gaines is not only hot, she's in incredible shape. AOC has let herself go. I think she's jealous. That's what I think.
I'm gonna be unbiased here and say AOC takes that round for sure.
No, not even
Oh
close.
my God, Jerry. If she was spewing like how cool guns were and stuff.
You thought she was pregnant. You're going to tell me Riley Gaines is in incredible shape, and she challenged AOC to debate, and AOC is running scared because liberals can't debate. It's just not possible. But Don Lemon, wrong again. What an idiot. Yeah, she looks trans. That woman right there.
Who's hotter, Megyn Kelly or Taylor Lorenz?
That woman looks trans. I would say the competition between, MAGA women and liberal women. You got Rosa DeLauro. You got Amy Klobuchar. You have Katie Porter. We have Riley Gaines and Megyn Kelly and Caroline Levitt. And it's not even close, Don. Not that you care. I mean, they're asking a gay guy to rate a woman. I don't know. It's a little strange. All right. That will do. We don't have time to get to We're going to get to Newsom at some point. We have to get to Newsom. He thinks he's riding high and he's going to be the nominee. I don't think so. We'll get to that, but we'll leave it there for today. Another wild day. Hey, check quick. Has Mamdani's numbers on Polymarket dropped at all? I know people are hoping, they're praying, they're saying something crazy is going to happen. I'm sorry, when he's at 90% 6 days before the election on Polymarket, which is pretty good at this, it's over. It's hopeless. We need to deport him. That's our only hope.
At 88% right now.
Oh, we slipped all the way to 88. I'm telling you, I wish I could share people's optimism, but it ain't going to happen. We are doomed. We are doomed. All right, that will leave it. We will leave it there for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leveraged times we have.